Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video today. I want to talk about freeing yourself, and with this video I will be sharing with you one of my oldest paintings created back in 2018 that is so deeply connected with this message. It's called Connected to Divine. But what I mean with divine and what I mean with connection is not something that's not just another spiritual concept or whatever. The idea was, behind this painting, the idea was that as much as we may feel separated from the wholeness of life, the wholeness will be separated from us. But as soon as we start striving towards more wholeness, the wholeness starts striving to be more present in our lives until we connect and become whole once again. Wholeness brings freedom, health, prosperity, abundance, wisdom, and infinite trust. I don't want to leave you here with words. I will give you much more practical guidance with this video so you can free yourself. But these were words I've written down after I finished this painting. So, free yourself, my friend. It's my intention for this video to provide you anything that can help you and allow you to free yourself. So once you begin to understand that the foundation of your life's experience, of your life, of your reality is how you feel about it. It is how you feel about it. And when you're deeply in tune with how you feel right now, you will notice there's an attitude that comes with it, right? When you feel more lower emotions, there will be attitude like, oh, it's this person's fault, it's this thing's fault, it's this circumstance's fault, it's this conditioning I've been through, this emotional hurts, this traumas, whatever. There's always attitude that comes out of feeling something. So it's always emotion is the foundation, right? So what's the emotion of freedom then? If you want to free yourself, like when I've been painting this, you will see it's quite a big painting. Let me explain what freedom means to me. I'm an artist, and when I'm making art, my greatest intention is to be free, to allow the creation to lead me, so to move through me and to surrender as much as I can to the process. It has nothing to do with spirituality or anything you've heard in different spiritual things, but it has everything to do with attunement, with being aware, being present while moving through life. So the painting that I'm sharing today with you, the canvas is quite big. So the thing was, when I had this first art exhibition, this is the video you're watching today is from my first art exhibition back in 2018. It was the first time I've introduced my art to people, to a public eye. And the feedback was so incredible. So the thing was, in 2018 I've started painting, and then towards the end of 2018 I had my first art exhibition with, I think, over 35 paintings, maybe 40. I've been working quite a lot back at that time. So at the introduction of this art exhibition, I had a short movie I've prepared for people as an introduction of my work. I'm coming from sports, so I've introduced this story to people. And then when this art intro, exhibition intro was over, I was left with that huge canvas. So through the exhibition, I've decided, oh, what if I would paint something? There's a blank canvas on the wall. It's quite huge. I don't know when I will have the next time an opportunity to make this kind of a painting. So I was looking at it, and I've started seeing these two hands colliding, coming together. it just started showing up in my mind's eye, and that's how I create all my paintings. For those of you who are new to my channel, that's how I create all my paintings. I see them in my mind's eye and I paint them. So that's what I call guidance. So it's a very, very intuitive experience. And I just believe we all have this kind of guidance, but the problem is that we see someone doing something and we compare ourselves with them, and then we have these expectations that we should experience it same as that other person is experiencing. Like someone would say to me, hey, I don't see any vision, so what's wrong with me? And I would say, nothing is wrong with you. You just need to notice what you notice in your world. You see, reality exists within you. It's your internal experience of what you are, what you later create in your life. So to be free means to be in tune, to notice, well, if this emotional sensation is a foundation of life, well, if you're in these lower emotions, you're not in tune with life. You're only in tune with reaction to certain circumstances or people or conditions or events or whatever you blame, right? So you can't be in tune if you're in these lower emotions. And what's the tricky thing, when you're in lower emotions, you often start comparing yourself with someone who is maybe on higher emotions, and you wish yourself to be like him or her. So to free yourself means that you recognize the foundation is how you feel. The foundation is your feeling sensation right now, your emotional sensation right at this moment. And as you become more present, you will notice that this sensation starts calming down. There's no reactivity anymore. If there's no reactivity anymore, suddenly you calm down, your nervous system calms down, and you experience a connection between your mind and your body. It only happens when you become more present, when you're in tune with this moment, and you experience this collision. As you will notice in the painting, there are two hands, but what's actually presented here, the lower hand is the material hand. It's like the brain or the mind. The upper hand is like the spiritual hand. And with spiritual, I mean all there is. It's invisible life force. It's invisible intelligence that's creating life. Like, Jesus said, me and Father are one, but Father is greater than me. And that's where we experience this collision. We recognize, okay, I am this material body, but this material body is a product of a higher body, which is God, which is creator. It's an invisible body that is creating itself visible. But as soon as you become visible, then you become this individual experience of God. You become this individual self, right? And because no one taught you how to live your life as an individual self, you've been just presented by a bunch of different ideas, opinions, and expectations. And suddenly you became somebody. Now you're somebody that is feeling a certain way, and now you're defined this way, right? And what we need to figure out, if we want to free ourselves, what it means to be free. Well, firstly, it means that we are not defined by false ideas, that we are not defined by something that is limiting our life's experience. If you say, I am this way because I have this amount of things, or I feel limited, or I feel stuck, or I feel stored, or whatever, you're only repeating what you've heard from people who are in similar situations. Now, if you would study someone who's in a greater situation and actually ask them how they became what they are today, as, let's say, greater demonstrations of being a human being, they will most probably tell you, look, you know what I did? At a certain point, I've stopped defining myself by these limiting ideas. So many successful people will tell you, I don't just believe in God, I know God. Because I've been at such a dark place and I've surrendered myself to this higher knowing. And suddenly I've started to feel like I want to make something out of my life. Like I want to create something valuable, something that will be present for the next generation. Suddenly they've been driven by a greater idea than themselves. Suddenly they were not thinking from themselves. They were thinking more from as the universe, as the creator. They were not defined by themselves anymore. Suddenly they've been defined more as a society, and they've noticed, okay, in society something is missing, and through me it can come into this current society. So suddenly they became more empowered. They've recognized that they need to take their lives into their hands and become the change. And that is freedom, that is liberation, where you recognize that everything you want is already in your power, but not if you stay defined by how you feel. As long as you stay defined by how you feel, you will be doing things same way as you did before. You will have same expectations, you will be criticizing and blaming and complaining about same things as you did before. And what if the universe is this interesting force that just increases, that just kind of magnifies, that makes what you feel more real than it was before? So as soon as you feel something, it just becomes more real, and it kind of starts a momentum of events that will just reaffirm to you that the way you feel is how you should feel. So again, when we come back to freeing ourselves, to freedom, we come back to understanding that, well, emotions can be altered. More you become present right at this moment as you're listening my voice or watching the painting, more you're recognizing how your reality is disappearing from your awareness. All you hear is my voice, and maybe you see this painting. You get some associations, but that's it. Your reality is disappearing. But as soon as you start to think about your reality, you also start to feel it. So you've noticed, as long as you've been focused just on my voice or on the painting, you maybe felt inspired, maybe you felt more in tune, maybe you felt more present, more alert. And as you've started thinking about your reality, you've started thinking about these lower emotions once again. So what it reminds you? Well, emotions make you plug into a reality that's familiar to you. And when you decide to raise your emotional energy through learning, through certain tools like meditation or dancing or breathing or creating, creativity is an incredible tool. You recognize that reality becomes quite vast. It's quite infinite. And there are levels to it. Each emotion kind of introduces you to a certain level of reality. So the goal here is to go higher onto freedom. So we need to ask ourselves what or how it looks like to be free, how it feels like to be free. What kind of person we need to be free, right? And we soon recognize that to be free, it means that we are free of worry, that we are free of blame, that we are free of fear, that we are free of judging, that we are free of pain, that we are free of sorrow, that we are free of envy, that we are free of anger, and on and on and on. And I've mentioned all these lower negative emotions. This is hell, right? This is where we experience hell. And most people are just looped in these lower emotions. It's not that you start denying them or ignoring them or saying it's not real or not wanting to feel them. You can't not want to feel them because you will still feel them. The point is that you recognize what brought you into these emotional experiences, because life has this two different sensations, the good sensation and what we describe as the bad sensation. And both of these sensations will always be present in your life. You will never escape one with another. You can feel good for a certain period of time, and you will then also feel bad for a certain period of time. The point is that you stop judging them. But you don't stop judging them by deciding you will stop judging them. It's then a whole initiation in life. It's a process in life where we decide, okay, now I'm willing to become greater than who I was, and therefore I'm willing to heal this part of me that has a need to judge. And when you stop judging, you recognize that everything becomes your teacher. Every word, every experience, every condition, every person, every circumstance becomes your teacher. And if you're able to access this state, well, what will happen? You will start to feel very, very alert in your life in a more positive way. Suddenly you will notice, oh, there was so much in my life already present, but I was missing it. I couldn't see it before because I was living in my mind. Before I mentioned this collision with two hands that you will see later, right now you're already probably seeing it. The lower one is the material one. It's the brain, it's the mind, it's the identity of a material experience. And the upper one is the spiritual one. It's who we are behind this game. And only when we connect them, when you connect your mind and your heart in poetic language, heart-brain coherence, you get into a state of attunement. In the state of attunement, your brain goes into a very calm theta brainwave frequency. It's also known as the state of hypnosis. But what happens in this state is we become aware of inner voice. We all have an inner voice. People have mistaken it with their overthinking mind, and they think they have intuition. But you can only hear it when you learn to calm your brain down. Eventually it becomes like a skill. You can hear it anytime you want. But at the beginning, usually it happens when you learn to calm down your brain by heart-brain coherence, which is a practice where you firstly calm your heart down. What happens, your nervous system gets a signal that your body is safe and now it can relax. And what happens, your emotional expression of the body will calm down. It will calm down into more peaceful state. And in more peaceful state, you become more present, you start to feel safer, and suddenly your body starts producing more of these constructive, healthier hormones like oxytocin. Suddenly you feel more love for yourself. Suddenly you feel happier. Suddenly you feel like life is good. And what happens in your brain recognizes, oh, there's so much energy now. And this energy then can be used for something creatively. So a vision shows up in your mind, or a thought, an idea, a goal, something that could actually shift your life for the better if you decide to follow it. And that is where you experience freedom, where life starts communicating you with goals, with visions, with ideas and intentions that will free you. Right? So it's not something you wish for yourself or for others. It's something you in tune with. So then through action you become it. And as you become it, in my eyes, you become a wonderful example for fellow brothers and sisters. And it's a momentum of this already happening on the world. So it's much easier to do it now than it was ever before. So that's how you free yourself. You firstly free yourself in your body by finding calmness, finding connection between your brain, your heart, calming into it, and then understanding your life will always be equal to your emotions. And your emotions right now don't need to define your future. You can easily resolve it when you find a practice that can allow you to feel safe, because you will see your nervous system can't release something from the past as long as it feels safe. Once it feels safe, it will like relax the muscle and something from the past will be released and you will be freed. Not that one day you will just wake up and you will be completely free. It's a gradual process. As I said, it's an initiation. So you need to be patient with yourself and you need to keep returning back to you. Catching yourself every time you lose yourself back in emotional reactions and recognize that your reality, what you're looking at, is actually a product of the past. You've created it through past actions. It is how it is right now, but it doesn't need to stay it forever or stay like it forever. You can change it anytime you change your internal attitude towards it. It will not change immediately, but the interesting synchronicities will follow your inner change, and suddenly you will be free. I hope you've enjoyed in this one. You found a great value. I will leave you here. I'm sending you lots of love, my friends. And to anyone who would love to support my art, you can find it in our store, AttractPassion.com. You can find all of my art, prints of my art. Some of the original paintings are still available, so go and check it out. Prints are in different sizes. We are shipping them from Slovenia. We're collaborating with an incredible company since the beginning that are making prints for us, and they're very good quality. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. And to anyone who would like to work with me one-on-one, I'm also offering coaching, and you can find the link in the description of this video. So have a good day, my friends. Until next time, one love.